1 2 1 2 test test test. Okay, I think we're live. Hello, hello. Nobody's here. Okay. So I'll give it a minute before we go. Basically, for anyone watching later, I purchased some Frederic Malle samples. I was watching Henna from Canadian Beauty channel, and she was doing a review of some of her Frederic Malle, and I'd kind of left a comment on her channel saying that I hadn't been too impressed with the ones that I'd smelled. But it's been a few years since I kind of really gave them a fair shot, so I thought I would go to the website and buy some samples, and there was a couple that I've not smelled properly. So yeah, we got some Frederic Malle samples. I thought we'd do kind of a live first impression. There's only 3 to go through, and these are the ones that I decided to try. So yeah, that's what we're going to do on the live stream. Hey Henna, I just mentioned you, so yeah, she inspired me to buy some Frederic Malle samples after our little conversation on the review that Henna did of some of her Frederic Malles. So yeah, I decided to try these 3, and we'll see how it goes. Good evening from Lakeland, Florida. Hey Kevin, how you doing, buddy? So I don't know what to expect. I've not given these a proper smell before, so we'll see. In general, like, Frederic Malle isn't totally my cup of tea, I would say, in terms of I have smelled a lot from them in different boutiques around the world, and every time I've sat down and smelled them for a while, I kind of like, I never found one that I really liked that much. There's ones I appreciate, definitely, but like I wouldn't kind of wear them myself, basically. So we'll see. I picked a couple of fresh ones. These are slightly more on the fresher side. And then I quite like Rose, although this one might be a bit more feminine, but we'll give it a shot and see. So we'll start with the first one, which is I've come pre-prepared with little cutouts of the bottles here. Cologne Indelible. I can't do French words, so forgive any mispronunciations of things. Okay, so I'm going to give it a spray on like card, and then I'll also spray it, because I've only got 3, I'll put it on my hands as well. So the notes for this one, let me just smell it first and then I'll read the notes. Okay, it's quite light and fresh. It's quite musky. Let me see what it's like on my hand. It's not super complicated. It smells quite light and kind of... It's quite nice. It doesn't wow me, but it's definitely pleasant. So this has got bergamot, lemon, neroli, orange blossom, narcissus, and musk. For me, you get a lot of musk, and it's a little bit like... How would you describe it? Like fresh laundered towels. It's like a white, clean towel that's been hanging out on the washing line, and you've got like scented fabric softener on it. It's got that kind of musk that just reminds me of like a laundry basket of fresh towels with this kind of light citrus accord. Maybe a little bit of the neroli orange blossom is probably helping give a little bit of that soapy vibe, but I think a core of it's definitely coming from the musk. At least that's the way that I would perceive it. But it's got this definite kind of fresh laundry towel kind of vibe. It's okay. I don't love it. Yeah, the musk is like, it's like laundry detergent. I mean, it's that kind of vibe. You haven't smelled this one. I don't like the sound of that. It's very safe. It doesn't smell super niche in a way. It's extremely safe. It's simple. It's clean, a little bit citrusy, a little bit of that kind of clean white floral, and the musky thing just smells like fresh towels on a washing line. Very kind of soapy, powdery, not powdery like makeup, like powdery like washing powder. You know, when you put in your washing machine, you're putting in a little scoop of powder. It smells like that. It's literally a scoop of washing powder. The citrus is already burned off, and I'm getting the huge kind of musky, florally thing that's, again, very simple. White t-shirt kind of smell. It's okay. I mean, it doesn't smell bad. I mean, it smells like clean clothes, clean towels, like a clean, crisp white shirt. But it's definitely not exciting. It definitely doesn't smell super niche or like luxury or super expensive. It smells simple. It smells like clean clothes, basically. Like a clean, crisp towel. Nothing bad to say. It's just like very simple. I was expecting a little bit more, to be honest, but we'll see how it dries down. Let me look back at the notes and see what the note list is very simple. Okay, by the look of it, it's not going to really have a dry down that changes. The dry down is musk, basically. I think what I'm smelling is going to be the whole thing, to be honest. I don't think it's going to change much. Hey Aaron, how are you doing, buddy? Are you still in South Korea, or have you come back? It's the same structure as Colonia Essenza, I find. Interesting. I've not spent much time with the Essenza version of Colonia, so I'm not sure. It's okay. I wouldn't buy a bottle myself. If you want to smell like a crisp, clean white shirt, very non-offensive, very light kind of clean, musky smell, then maybe that one you'd be into. But it's not something that I would feel an urge to go out and buy myself. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one because that's very simple. We'll circle back around to it when we're at the end and see if there's any changes. But smelling it and like being familiar with perfume materials myself, I don't think it's going to change much personally. We'll move on to the next one, which is Outrageous. Let me make the bottle a little bit bigger, if it will let me. Oh, the magic of television. There we go. Okay, so let me get a piece of little test strip. Hi from Jamaica. Hello, my friend. Okay, so we'll give this one a spray. I'll smell it first and then we'll look at the notes. I've got them like pre-written down, but they're not on the screen at the moment. So again, I'll put it on paper and then I'll put it on my skin as well. So this is another light, fresh one. It's immediately more interesting than the first one. This is, I think, better, but it smells very simple, quite light. Let me spray it on my hand. The other hand. I'm great. I have been back in New York since March. Now I'm working at a school and I'm also back. Oh, very cool. There's something about the top I don't like, actually. On paper, it was more pleasant. On my skin, oh, it's just a little bit sharp. It's like the thing that came to mind was these synthetic woody molecules, like things that come to mind, like nolimbanol. These very sharp kind of woody molecules that are a little bit, I can't express it other than sharp, and it's got a little bit of this kind of sharp quality to it in the top note, which I don't like. Reading the notes, it says green apple, lime, grapefruit, mint, cinnamon, neroli, orange blossom, musk, aldehyde, cedar, and amber. I'm not sure. I don't think I like it. I can't. When I smelled it on the paper, I was like, "Oh, that's better," and I think it does smell better on paper. On my skin, it doesn't smell good. Maybe it's just my skin chemistry. It was a little bit sharp in the opening. Um, I can't, I'm trying to read the note list and thinking, do I get any of that? I can kind of see green apple, but not like huge. I don't think the citruses of the lime and the grapefruit, they don't pop. It's not juicy. It's not overly citrusy. It's definitely got a little bit of a freshness, but without being mint. I'm trying to think. I'm not even sure I would describe it as overly minty. I'm looking at the note list of what it's telling me that it's in there. I think you get this kind of soapy aldehyde. An aldehyde is listed there. There was some kind of sharp, kind of woody molecule thing, or that's how it came across in the opening, but that's kind of... whatever that sharp thing was is kind of toned down a little bit. I wouldn't say it's particularly spicy. Cinnamon is listed. It smells like... do you know perfumes that are so intertwined where the notes really don't they all meld together a bit like a soup, and it just creates this thing that's quite hard to dissect individually? I'm not getting complex different notes. I'm getting a soup of something that's aldehydic, musky, woody, a little bit fresh, but without being defined. It smells like it's almost in its own little cocoon or bubble, or it's it's contained in a bubble of something. I can't... maybe it's the way the aldehyde or the musk is kind of doing it. It's like it's wrapped in plastic or something. I can't quite explain it. Hi Pete, I love how the brand highlights the name of... Yes, I agree. That's cool. Carnal Flower is one of the best from the line. Nice. In John Lewis today about Frederic Malle. Okay. This one, I'm not sure I like it. It smells better on paper, although on paper it's very soft. It smells quite light. You get that kind of aldehydic, musky kind of quality. It's definitely not outrageous. I don't quite get the name. I'm not sure where they're going with the name, but I would have called it bland more than outrageous. It's not outrageous in the slightest. You could say maybe it's outrageously simple or outrageously bland, but it's not outrageous. I don't love it. I just don't love it. I'm not sure what else to say. I was kind of expecting a little bit more interest or complexity, or... This one, again, the best way I can describe it is this slightly fresh, aldehydic, musky quality that isn't particularly defined or nuanced. It smells again, all the notes are kind of merging into this thing that's just a bit like a soup of a blob of a smell without being getting loads of nuances from it. It's just this thing, but that's not particularly interesting. That's the problem with it. It's not interesting. It doesn't grab you. It's not fascinating. It's a smell without being particularly I don't see the point in it, in a way. I don't know. If I was a perfume evaluator, I would say that's no good. Throw it away. Do the next one. That wouldn't pass my kind of. If I was a perfume evaluator for this brand, that wouldn't be in a bottle. I wouldn't sell that personally. That's just my personal opinion. That does literally nothing for me. That would just be like a reject for me. Sorry. Apologies if you own it and you love it. It might work great for you, but for me, that's just it's very bland. I don't quite get it. Let's go back to the comments. Wasn't this one released in I have no idea of the release date, sorry. Potentially foreshadowing the future. I it's not particularly bad, but it's just not good, you know? I agree with all these assessments. Outrageous wasn't even memorable when I smelled it. Yeah, basically, it's forgettable. It's completely forgettable. I don't quite get that in the Frederic Malle line, personally. You've been wearing that hat for like 10 years. I haven't. I've got 3 of these. One might be 10 years old, then I bought another one. This is about several months old, and then I got a brand new one in the drawer in my wardrobe, which I could pull out and go and show you, that I've not even worn once. It's crisp, ready to replace this one. I like this one specific hat, the shape and the colour. But it's not the same hat. I just have 3 of them. I buy backup hats. I'm not kidding, it's a backup hat. I'll go prove it. Hold on, let me show you. Let me mute my microphone while I lean over this way and grab you another one. So, I have backup hats. This is a brand new one. I'd never been worn. Like, it's not the same hat. I might have been wearing it for 10 years, but they are new hats. I just like this specific hat, and so I buy new ones, and then when the old one gets mucky, I just put a brand new one on. So there you go. You've learned something today. How's life treating you? Super happy to be back home. This one's a clean one. Okay, we're going to smell the last one, which will be a rose perfume. Life is treating me okay, Aaron. Thank you. I'm getting ready to go back to India in November, which I'm looking forward to. I love my time in India. I think it's a beautiful country. And I'll be there for probably 4 months at minimum, maybe 6. We'll see. Which ones are you trying today? So we've got Cologne Indelebile, which we've already smelled. That one, which is on my... It's a little bit, I would say, mediocre. It smells like... There's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. It's just... It's a musk accord that smells like freshly laundered towels, like a crisp white towel that's had a nice fabric softener on it. You've hung it up on the washing line, you've just brought it in on a nice spring day, and you smell the basket of fresh towels. That's what that is. It's just a musky, soapy, musky fabric softener kind of smell. Very, very, very simple. Nothing wrong with it, but it's not complicated, it's not fascinating, it doesn't smell expensive, it smells literally like laundry detergent powder. That's it. The next one we smelled was Outrageous, which is not outrageous, it's bland. It's an aldehydic musky thing that's not very well defined, not very well interesting, it's just forgettable. Sorry to be like harsh and blunt. Like I was hoping for more, to be honest. I'm just being honest. These aren't my cup of tea. There's nothing particularly wrong with them. I just don't think they're that good. Like I was saying that if I was Frederic Malle, who's like the evaluator and like decides what goes into a bottle, that wouldn't get past my evaluation. I'd be like, that's, put that in the bin. Like that's not good enough. Let's do something else. If you want to make something fresh and clean, I just think you can do better than that. It just doesn't do anything for me. On a personal level, I mean, perfume is very subjective. It's a personal feeling or response. Just because it doesn't do anything for me, you might smell it and go, oh my god, I love it. But for me, that does nothing. I don't quite get that one. I mean, there's nothing bad about the way it smells. It smells fine. I just don't think it smells that interesting. I wouldn't want to walk around smelling like that, although smelling like that would be completely acceptable and fine. Like I say, it doesn't smell bad. It's just if I'm going to spend money on a perfume that's that expensive, I would want to have it smell more, not exactly the same as a laundry detergent, basically. Let me go back to the comments. I think you got all the boring ones. It may be that, yes. Why do you have backup hats? I wear them for many years, and then when they're old, I'm worried that this hat will get discontinued, and I will no longer be able to buy it. So while it is available, I bought a few of them, and then when they don't make them anymore, I've still got a brand new one. This brand now owned by Estee Lauder. In the day they were amazing, but now just big companies. You can't compare these to some. Fair enough. Hello, Jonathan. How you doing, buddy? Once I get my master's, I'm thinking about going abroad again. Maybe Italy, Japan, or Vietnam. Excellent. Good stuff. Living the life there. Some of the Frederic Malle that I liked were Monsieur, Geranium Pour Monsieur, Carnal Flower, Portrait of a Lady, Iris Poudre. Very nice. I might go back and buy some more samples at some point. These ones have disappointed me so far. Maybe this last one will be the redeemer. This is the last one, so we'll see if this redeems the brand. Hopefully, if it doesn't, I'll be a little sad. Is Mon Tobacco Intensivo worth blind buying? I've no idea. I don't recall it. Carnal Flower and Portrait of a Lady are the best of the line. I have tried both of them. I don't remember Carnal Flower properly, to be honest. I just don't recall it from memory. Portrait of a Lady is nice. I gave it a good review. I've worn a sample of it. I've reviewed it. I do think it's one of the better ones. I do like it. I think it's a nice perfume. So this is the last one. I can't pronounce it. Is it Tonnerre? Rose Tonnerre? I'm not sure. My pronunciation might not be brilliant. So I'll put this one on paper first, which I have just sprayed. The sprays are very good on the samples. Oh, this one's nice. I like that one more than the other two. It's very feminine rose, though. This isn't it's obviously feminine in a way. I'm not sure I would wear that myself. That's quite strikingly ladylike. Something about it's just a little bit like an air freshener, though. Do you know, you get rose-scented things in a can for freshening a room, rose-scented air fresheners? There's something about the quality of this rose that reminds me a little bit of it's coming out of a can. That's the only downside. It's a fresh, slightly more pink rose, I would say. But I quite like it. Let me look at the notes. Rose, honey, wine, geranium, truffle, musk, patchouli, vetiver, and castoreum. So it might get interesting as it dries down, since it's got kind of more woody, leathery aspects to it, and the dry down might be interesting. I have no idea what truffle smells like. I've never actually been in the presence of a truffle to know what truffle smells like. So the only downside for this, I would say, I like it. First of all, it is more on the feminine side. I don't think a lot of men would gravitate towards this one, personally. Let me spray it on my wrist. A little bit different on skin. Interesting. I would say the rose comes off a little bit more on the pink side rather than something that's like dark red, for example. Honey, I can kind of see a little bit, but it's not like super strong honey. I don't get anything that reminds me of wine. Geranium, probably a little bit. Geranium's got this kind of slight citrusy quality to it, which is a little bit lemony, kind of bright, so to speak. And I think this is probably a rose accord, which encompasses, things like geranium, that gives it this kind of fresh quality or brightness. I think they're using it to make it kind of a bright, which is done in the same kind of way with Love Kills by Mask Milano. That has a similar thing where they use geranium to kind of boost the brightness of the rose and make it a little bit more fresh, citrusy. And actually, there is elements of this that does remind me of Love Kills by Mask Milano. It's not overly sweet. It has honey in the note list, but it's not thick honey. If anything, it's more like a very kind of light touch of something that's like a little bit more like a floral honey maybe, but very light and kind of in the background. But there is something that is a little bit air freshener-like about it, which is maybe the only downside. Like, when I was offshore, working offshore on the oil rigs and on the big vessel, the ship that we slept on and worked from, in the toilet, in the toilets in the ship, basically, there were metal cans that you buy in Dubai, and they fill them full of rose smell. It's literally just like pink rose smell. And they spray the bathroom. Whenever you use a bathroom, you spray it afterwards and you leave. It's got something about it that reminds my brain of that kind of thing. So that's maybe a negative. If you've ever like sprayed rose scented air fresheners for a bathroom, there's something in this that probably maybe might trigger a memory of that. I mean, it smells better than that, but there's something in it that I definitely I'm slightly reminded of, like a can of spray of a rose smell for like an air freshener. That's the only kind of criticism I would say. That's just, maybe not everyone will get that, but my brain is reminded of that personally. So whether you get that or not, I'm not sure. You'd have to try it for yourself. Rose shit spray, wonderful. Yeah, kind of. Reminds me of the plants in the porch of a family room years ago. Probably just similar aroma chemicals to rose. I mean, I imagine this one's better quality, to be fair, but I think that it's just the way that the rose comes across. Like, the rose is a little bit more pink and fresh, which typically when you have an air freshener rose, that's kind of the rose that they go for, is this kind of bright, fresh pink rose. And because that is what this is a little bit, my brain just links the two. So you might not get that association. It just depends, It's definitely not over sweet, considering like honey's listed. I wouldn't describe it as overly sweet, subtly sweet maybe, but it's not obvious, It's very rosy. I think you get a good dose of the musk, but the musk in this is a little bit more neutral as opposed to something like the Cologne Indelible, which is like fabric softener, like a clean white crisp towel. This is like a very neutral musk, but you definitely get a bubble of that kind of musky quality without it smelling like laundry detergent or fresh clothes. It's more like a natural skin smell. It will be interesting to see how it dries down, because the base notes are truffle, musk, patchouli, vetiver, castoreum. If the leather comes out in the vetiver, it might give it a little bit more of a darker base, maybe, as the rose starts to tail off. So this one is the one I'm most looking forward to, like, seeing how that goes on my skin as the dry down. That's the best of the bunch. I would say that's the best one of the three, which isn't saying much, to be fair, because the other ones aren't brilliant. Okay, well that's it. That's my first impressions. Frederic Malle. I like the way that it comes. I think the pouch is cool. I like it. Nice quality pouch. I've got I like the presentation. I think the bottles, the boxes, the way they do things looks great. I love it. Nothing bad to say. The perfumes, maybe these ones that I've picked aren't the best from the line. Basically, I've maybe picked some that aren't, don't go out of your way to like. I don't know. It's up to you if you want to try what you like. Okay, so let's go back. So we've got Cologne Indelible, which is the first one that I sprayed. It hasn't changed in the slightest since we talked about it the first time. It's exactly like a box that you would buy from the supermarket of washing powder for the washing machine to clean your clothes with. Like the little white crystally powder with the little blue specks in, and you get a plastic spoon thing and you pour it in your washing machine, and it's that. It's literally a box of that. That's exactly how that smells to me. Which is fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but for a niche perfume that is niche priced, you kind of want to smell more than just laundry detergent powder, So that one's a pass from me. I think you would smell clean with it. Like if you work in an office and you just want to smell clean, like you've washed your clothes, great. That's what it'll do for you. It won't smell like you're wearing a perfume. I don't think anyone will think you're wearing a perfume. People will just think that you've got a nice quality, washing powder at home and your clothes smell clean. That's it. So that's that one. There's nothing else to say about it. Outrageous was on this hand. Outrageous is more bland, in my opinion. It's not outrageous in the slightest. It's slightly aldehydic. I'd say soapy aldehydic, slightly musky. Little bit of a kind of a more kind of bright, fresh opening with this kind of aldehydic musky thing. But it's not very well, in my opinion, personally, I don't feel like it's particularly well defined or particularly interesting. It doesn't capture your imagination. It's a little bit dull. It doesn't. It's one of those smells that you can't even really describe very well because it's a bit nondescript. And that's the best way to describe it. It's kind of nondescript. It's just a smell, but with like not really smelling much of anything. I like I said, like if I was Frederic Malle as the perfume assessor and I get to pick what goes into a bottle, that would not have made it in a bottle for me. I would have passed on that and like redone something else because I just don't see the point in it as a perfume. Personally, that sounds a little bit harsh, but I'm just like being brutally honest. That I would lob that in a bin if I made that personally. Maybe that's too honest. I don't know. I feel a bit rude. I just wouldn't. That just doesn't do it for me. Sorry. I have nothing else to say. It's just it's a forgettable, bland thing that just is okay. It doesn't smell bad. It definitely doesn't smell bad. It just doesn't smell interesting or particularly good either. I mean, it's outrageously bland. What else to say? The last one. This was the best of the three, which is on my wrist. The only negative about it is it might remind you of like the rose that comes out of an air freshener. Basically, it's a little bit on that line of like pink and fresh and bright. I like it. I don't think it smells bad. I think it's definitely more on the feminine side because of the feeling of it. It smells very perfumey, if that makes sense, like a traditional old school feminine perfumey kind of vibe. It smells a little bit generic in the sense that I can imagine walking through a store that smells like it sells soaps, like Bath and Body Works. You've got soaps, you've got lotion creams, you've got packs of candles that are all scented and very girly stuff, and you kind of walk through one of those kind of stores and you get hit by that kind of smell of like very feminine products of different soaps and candles and creams, and you get this very pleasant smell, very feminine kind of pleasant smell. It's a little bit like that to me. It's like, oh, that's nice, it's very feminine, it's kind of girly, it's pretty, but it's not like, I think Love Kills by Mask Milano is better, to be honest. If you want like a fresh, bright, crisp rose perfume, go for the Love Kills Mask Milano. Sample that first over this, I would say. I like it. It's okay. It's quite pretty. I think the Love Kills Mask Milano is better. But I'll be interested to see how it dries out. It's going a little bit... It has changed a little bit. There is something in it that's a little bit powdery, almost like talcum powder. I get a very fine kind of talc that's like a little bit kind of rosy talc. That's the best one of the three. But I would go with Love Kills Mask Milano first over this one. That's it. That's my first impressions of Frederic Malle, of the samples that I purchased. I'll probably go back to the website and maybe buy another 3. I don't know whether I'll review them in full. Maybe not, because I can't quite expand on it. Like things like that one. It smells like washing machine powder. Like, what else to say? Like, that's a 2-second review. I don't think it's going to change. Outrageous. I couldn't give that a brilliant review, and it wouldn't. It's kind of hard to describe, even. You would kind of have to smell it, and then you'd be like, how do I describe it? It's kind of, aldehydic, musky, a little bit soapy, kind of fresh, and it's a little bit, not that interesting. So I probably won't review those. We'll just keep it as a first impression. This one's the best one, the rose one, but again, it might remind you of an air freshener a little bit, just because of the nature or the colour of the rose in the opening. But that's it. That's my first impressions. What else to say? I'll probably go back and buy a couple more samples, and maybe I can pick some better ones. Let me catch up on comments before I say goodbye. I tried a sample of The Night by Frederic Malle. It smells very good to me. It smells like teak wood or teak furniture. I expected something weird or stinky, but no, the sandalwood is also strong. Laundry detergent and bathroom spray, not a strong showing from Frederic Malle. It's a little bit disappointing, I'll be honest. I was expecting or hoping for something a little bit more. In fact, these two, Cologne, Indelible, and Outrageous, if you go back and forth between them on your skin, they're not even a mile apart. Like, they're kind of... You get a similar kind of musky vibe of kind of clean musk, and when you smell them backwards and forwards, you kind of like, it's like a slightly different colour of beige, Yeah, I wouldn't release either of those personally. Like I say, I keep going back to being like a creative director or like a fragrance, evaluator. They wouldn't pass my check personally. I would be like, no, next version, let's keep going. But whatever reason, they decided that that's good enough and they bottled it. Sometimes I don't get why, but it is what it is. Outrageous denotes the price. Yes, probably. No, you describe it good. This house got the best perfumers and the best ingredients, but released a lot of trash given the price. That's something that I mentioned to Henna at Canadian Beauty. I was like, I've sampled a lot of it, and I don't love any of them really, and which is surprising because, like you say, they use some of the world's best perfumers. They've got good quality access to good quality materials, and then what they release is like, it's kind of okay. Some of them are good, like I say, there's a few ones that are better than others, But in general, like the perfumer Sophia here, that can't be her best work. Surely, I'm sure she's done better stuff than that. I don't know whether she's happy with that herself. I don't know how, like, if they make it to their own taste, or how much Frederic Malle actually influences the decision of the perfumer, or I don't know. But I wouldn't be happy if I made that personally. I, I don't know. Maybe I'm just too picky. Sometimes I think maybe my pickiness is maybe too picky. Maybe, but then I don't know. Other people seem to be like, they kind of like everything, and maybe they smell that and they go, "That's great. I love it." I just don't get it. It just doesn't do anything for me. I can't explain it in any other way. Like, I wouldn't put my name on that. And that sounds mean. Like, I feel like I'm picking on Sophia here. But even Dominique Ropion, brilliant perfumer, obviously, but he can make better perfume than smelling like laundry detergent, you know? I mean, it's not complicated to put that kind of fragrance together. You could make that at home. If you just want to smell like laundry detergent, which this is what this smells like, it smells like washing powder. It's not a complicated perfume. I don't get the expertise of a master perfumer and the knowledge that they have and the access to materials. You can make something better than smelling like washing powder, you know? Like, why would you? I don't quite get the logic of it. But that's just me kind of being a bit, I don't know, blunt. I just don't quite get it. I think the good ones are really good and the bad ones are forgettable. Yeah. What's your favourite perfume from your own brand? We don't need to talk about my own brand when I'm talking about other people's brands. Any suggestions for a newcomer in the same realm of Tom Ford, Tuscan Leather, or Tobacco Oud Intense? Basically a winter scent. Any suggestions for a newcomer in the realm of Tuscan Leather or Tobacco Oud Intense? In the realm of, as in similar to? Tuscan Leather, there's got loads of clones of it if you want to save money. I don't go out of my way to recommend clones, but Le Yucawam Pour Homme is a remarkable clone of Tuscan Leather. It's very, very close, and it lasts longer, and it's stronger, and it's basically like Tuscan Leather. I think it's been watered down over the years. It's not as strong as it used to be. But if you buy that particular clone, La Yucawam Pour Homme, I think it's called, it's like beast mode. It lasts ages. It's very powerful. You only need one spray. Like, if you want to save money and you want to smell a very strong Tuscan Leather, then buy that, basically. That's really what I wanted to say. That's what I expect from a newbie perfumer. I think even a newbie perfumer can do more interesting stuff like that, you know, to be fair. I mean, I don't want to talk about myself, but I'm a self-taught perfumer. That I'm not a master perfumer. I've not been trained by anyone, but I can make something more interesting than laundry detergent. I wouldn't release that, and I don't have any qualifications, you know. I learned by myself. And this is a master perfumer that's got decades of experience. Like, there's no question he can make remarkable perfume, but this isn't remarkable. Like, anyone can make laundry detergent smell. It's just musk. It's just a musk accord. It's not complicated perfumery. He's not using his talent there, is what I'm trying to say. Like, he's talented, but this doesn't require talent. Like, you're not using your talent. It's like an artist painting a picture, and it's like, well, I don't feel like using all my talent today. I'm just gonna paint something blue and put a yellow blob on it, and that's my art. It's just a yellow circle and a blue square. Like, you know, you've got talent, but you're just not using it. Like, I feel like I'm picking on them. Apologies to the perfumers. I mean, it's not their fault, I don't think. I think ultimately it's Frederic Malle, I think, is the one that decides whether it gets put in a bottle, and he's directing it. He's saying what he wants, and that's what he's approving and, you know, selling under his brand. So I guess it's on him. I joined late. Which ones is the detergent one? So the one that smells like that is Cologne Indelible by Dominique Ropion, and it smells like laundry detergent powder, you know, like a box of white soapy powder with the little blue flakes in you put in your to clean your clothes. Exactly what this is. I mean, it smells nice. It smells like freshly clean, crisp white shirts and clean, crisp white towels that have been, you know, spring out on a nice spring day. You've washed them in nice soapy powder and you've hung them up on the washing line on a spring day, and you bring them inside in a laundry basket and you smell it, and it's that. No one's going to know you're wearing a perfume. They're just going to think you've got clean clothes. Nice, fresh, clean clothes, but that's what it is. And the ones that would sell, sorry, I meant for your brand, not others, would like to support you. I would suggest, if you're interested in my own brand, just buy some samples. I sell a sample pack. They're affordable. If you're in Europe, you can buy them from my Spanish stockist. If you're in America, you can buy a sample set from Lucky Scent. If you're in the UK, you can buy them from me. Get a sample, read the notes, see what you like the sound of, and just buy a small sample and try them if you want to. I appreciate it. Thank you. Petra likes Carnal Flower. Yes, I think I'll make a note because a couple of people have suggested things, and I will probably go back and buy some more because I feel like this one is, I guess, not my cup of tea, shall we say? I feel bad. Genuinely, I feel I feel like I've been a bit mean, but I'm just being very honest, basically. Like, maybe a bit too honest. I'd love to hear what you have to say about Synthetic Jungle. I don't know. I don't have enough. Did I review that? Synthetic Jungle? Maybe I did. I don't remember it, so it can't be that good. If it was good, I'd remember it. Frederic Malle Synthetic Jungle FragranceView. I've got a sneaky feeling I might have reviewed it. Maybe I didn't. No, I have smelled it. I've smelled it in Manchester with my sister. Okay, I haven't reviewed it. Okay. I remember smelling it. I can't remember what it smells like. I've got no recall of it, so I don't think it would be brilliant because I can't recall it. I don't know. I'll read the notes on it and see whether I would try that or not. So Carnal Flower. I'm writing down your suggestions of what you think are the best ones, and I'll go and buy some more samples. Carnal Flower, I'll pick up a sample because I think 2 or 3 of you have mentioned that. Iris Poudre. I'll look up the notes and maybe go with that one because I quite like Iris. Monsieur and Geranium Pour Monsieur were mentioned. Okay. Well, I've written a couple down. I may go back and buy another 3 samples. Synthetic Jungle is okay, but the Inspiration Private Collection is better. Your Discovery Pack is out of stock at Lucky Scent. Please, is it? Is it? Let me have a look. I think you can buy singles though. Let me check. Centauri. I'm on Lucky Scent now. Centauri Discovery Set. Samples of Discovery Set are temporarily out of stock. Oh, they never asked for. They ordered recently to buy Elixir, and they never asked me for the sample set. I just presumed they had some. Sorry about that. They didn't ask me for any more. So I think if you click on the individual bottles, you can buy their own little decants of them. Yeah, 0.7 ml, $8. It's expensive. I charge £5 for 2 ml, and they're doing the same price for 0.7 ml. So you're getting, less for more, basically. I don't have any control of the way they price things on Lucky Scent. But if you want to pick up one sample, then you can, it's okay. The new Elixir, $7 for a sample. Again, that's That's like £5 in English money, which is what I charge for 2 ml, and they're only giving you a 0.7 from a dab vial. It's not brilliant the way that they price things. Yeah. I mean, I can ship to America as well. It costs, I think, £22 for me to ship a sample set to America. But if you do buy a sample set, what I do is I write a code on your paper with your name on it, and if you come back and buy a full bottle, it will give you free shipping. So you won't pay the shipping on a free bottle. If you come back and buy a bottle after you've sampled the sample set, you don't pay the shipping on the bottle to make up for the fact that you had to pay shipping to get the sample set, if that makes sense. That's what I've been doing. So you can buy it from me if you want to. It's up to you. Or go individually and get a little 0.7 from Lucky Scent. Thank you. I think you will like Monsieur or Geranium Pour Monsieur. Iris Poudre is nice, but a bit on the feminine side. I don't mind like feminine-y kind of perfumes. You know, I think a handful of mine in my collection maybe people might think is more feminine. I'm not like I don't feel the need to wear uber masculine scents all the time. Like I'm cool with wearing something that someone might think is a little bit feminine-ish. I don't kind of label it too much in perfume that way. I'm comfortable in my skin, like, you know, without worrying about like someone thinking you smell like a girl. Like, I just don't care. It's like, you know, I think most men wouldn't like it, but I think it's unisex. But I think when a man can pull off a floralized perfume, it is sexy. You know, are you planning to expand your brand, or is it artisanal work only? I don't quite know what you mean by expand the brand. I mean, I'm making more perfume, which will expand the collection. But in terms of like expanding, in terms of like being big or whatever, like that's not my. I don't think I have control over that. Like it's whether people buy it, you know, like how many people buy it, how many people talk about it. At the moment, not that many people. Like, not really anyone talks about my brand. None of the reviewers really talk about my brand. It doesn't get talked about that much on Instagram, or I deleted my Facebook, so I don't see any of the Facebook groups. I'm kind of reliant on my audience, as in, if you talk about it, other people might see it and might try it, but at the moment it's very small. Like, my audience is limited to who watches my videos, and then that's obviously reflects on a small amount of orders that go out, and like, I don't know how you would expand the brand. Like, I don't pay for marketing. I don't pay anyone. It's just literally just me. I make the perfumes, I bottle it, I send it, I do literally everything. And I don't pay for any kind of advertising or marketing or anything like that. The most I do is, you know, send some samples to reviewers if they want. This time I did send a couple of free bottles of Elixir out to reviewers that I think of as friends. Like George and Chris and Ashton, I sent them a free bottle. Justin Copeland as well, I think he's cool. And I thought he'd like it. I thought it would suit him, so I sent him one. That's the first time in the history of my brand in 3 years that I've ever sent anyone a free bottle. I usually don't. But I wanted to with this one, with it being like boozy, slightly gourmand. I thought they'd enjoy it, and, you know, so I sent one Ramsey as well, forgetting Ramsey. I like Ramsey. That's it, really. Didn't watch the stream from the start, but Dans Tres Brass is an underrated Frederic Malle. Let me write it down. I'll have a look at the notes and see if the notes sound interesting to me. I'm not familiar with it from memory. I don't recall that one. I've written it down, thank you. It may be surprising, but there is a group of community in Korea that are interested in your brand. That is surprising. I can't ship there. I don't know how they try it. Yes, other little people stole my Gaia bottle, aka my 14. Gaia is quite challenging. It's funny, like, listening to people talk about Gaia. It gets some of the most beautiful reviews and also some of the most harsh criticism. Like, I've heard people say that it smells like a moldy cave, or it smells like stale urine on a roadside, was one comment. And then other people are like, it smells like I had this wonderful review on Instagram that this girl posted. I thought it was just beautiful. The way that I'll find it and read it here. But it's like my favourite description I've ever heard from anyone on Gaia. I'll see if I can find it. Here we go. I found it. This smells amazing on naturally musky people, like if a magical forest nymph or centaur was eating wild honey. I don't have enough natural musk for the ambergris in the perfume to do its beautiful thing, but it's honestly addicting to smell on others. And did I mention this goes beast mode? I just thought that was awesome, like the idea of a magical forest nymph or centaur eating wild honey. I just thought that was brilliant. But it does get like very mixed reactions, and I think it's skin chemistry because, like, I used a material called geosmin in Gaia that's really quite earthy. It smells like kind of soil, basically wet soil. And on certain skin chemistries, that soil like comes to the front and it's very strong, and you might smell like you're in a damp, moldy cave. Other people, it's more in the background. It doesn't overflood the perfume, and it's really down to skin chemistry. It's amazing what skin chemistry does. Very different on different people. And the other thing with Gaia is the honey. The honey note can work for you or it can work against you. Some people it's pissy and it smells animalic, and Gaia will smell really funky on them and they won't like it. And on my skin and on other people's skin, it's not funky, it's not animalic, it doesn't smell urine-y, and it's purely down to skin chemistry. So just because it smells pissy on you doesn't mean it's on everybody. Like, other people it doesn't. And I think that's the magic of skin chemistry, and it kind of makes the reviews fun because everyone's got a different experience of Gaia, which I think makes it quite cool. I kind of like that because it's not just one material in it that's kind of different on different people. There's like multiple materials in it that can change on different people. So I think that's quite cool. And there's a orris butter accord in the or orris, like genuine orris butter in there, and I think that gives it a nice effect as well, and that can be stronger on certain skin chemistries as well. I think it's one of the most interesting perfumes I've ever made, personally. We're not talking about mine though. We're getting distracted here. I was meant to talk about Frederic Malle, but yeah. Okay, so I will say goodnight. I just wanted to do a first impressions of my new Malles. I'll probably. Yeah, that rose one is the last one we smelled, this one. Little bit talky. Still nice. I would say if you want something that's fresh, bright rose, do check out Mask Milano's Love Kills. I think it's really good. I would go for the Love Kills over this one, personally. Worth a sniff if you like rose, though. That's it. That's my first impressions of the Frederic Malle. And yeah, I'll go back to the website and probably buy another 3, and we'll see if those give me a little bit more inspiration. Thanks to everyone for hanging out. It says hello, and she thanks you for the awesome. Okay, take care, everyone. I'll see you soon with some more full reviews, and I'll let you know when I get some more Frederic Malle samples, and we'll have a part 2 of some more samples. Take care, everyone. I'll see you soon. Good night. Thank you. Bye.